What's going on, everybody? We're about ready to start our next round of projects here, and they are related, but we'll start with the first part. Up here on my scaffold, looking at the roof of my bus, we are looking at raising the solar rack there to go above the air conditioner so we can add more solar. That's right. So, this is where we're at here. I know I did my solar install video a long time ago, so maybe I'd review kind of what I have going on here. This is all unistrut or super strut, depending on the home improvement store you buy it from. So I'm looking at it's kind of how I have things joined together. But I'm looking at raising this whole platform up about 10 inches. I was trying to see if there's a way I could do the panels going on either side of the air conditioners to provide a center walkway, which I would absolutely love, but I would end up being out a little bit, probably not a whole lot more than where the awning is, but it would be on either side. I just didn't want to do that. I guess it would be inside my mirrors for sure, but I don't know. I think the simplest is just to raise the whole rack up and get my 2 more panels on here. And the other part of the project that I'm going to be able to do then is I'm going to be able to put, I'm going to replace the escape hatch there with a max air vent. Same with the one up front, but that does not require the solar roof raise, but it does give me the option to add even more solar in the future. I could see myself eventually pulling a bus grease monkey and going to what do I have now? I have 6. I'm going to 8. I could go to a full 10. And that would put me at about well over 3,000 watts. Right now I'm at 1950. So going 2 more, that puts me like 26 something, I think. I don't remember exactly what. These are 325 a piece. I'll let somebody else do the math. So my plan for right now is I'm going to undo the bolts here and just slide them off. The nice thing I like about my system is it's very similar to commercial solar racking. It's just being held down with pressure. So all I have to do is just undo 4 bolts and I can slide the panel off. So I should be able to pull this section of 3 off real quick, and then I'll raise it up because I want to test it out first. It's kind of been one of my MOs. Pretty much building anything is to do something small, test it, then go bigger. So that's what I'm gonna do. All right, I got the panels off. That didn't take too long. Now I'm going to undo just the 4 bolts holding the rack on, and maybe I'll cut a couple of supports before the sun goes down. All right, so I kind of have a little model set up of the way I'm planning on it working. So before, it was basically the rack was just like this, and I drilled a hole right through the side here because I want the top rail here, I want that there so that I can put these in here, and then that just, it's like a lock nut, and then it can cinch down the panel. So I still want those on top. I want the channel on top. So my plan is I'm going to take one like this, and then with those, are you going to stand? Good. And then do something like this, except smaller in here. So you can put these in here, and those will lock on. And I'll probably do just one on the bottom for right now. And my thought there is, especially while I'm just test fitting this, I'll put one in the bottom. And then if I need some more stability, I'll add another one there. I mean, I could just start with a second one there too. And then, but moving the nuts, I can drop a nut down there easy enough if I need to add another one. Anyway. And then I'm thinking I'm gonna need to put a T there. And they make a T-brace. It's like this. And then it's got another one there and another one there. I haven't bought that yet. I think I'll probably get those tomorrow. And I will have to drill a couple of holes in these. But that's kind of just the way it's been. So that's my plan there. We're going GoPro here. Back on top of the bus. I need to mount a couple more of these L brackets here on the back here, just because the structural piece that this is tied into is not the same as the rest of these. This is square tube here. Over here it's round tube. So I mean, it's anchored in there pretty good actually. I redid this one here and covered it in Dicor. But I figured I'd show you how I put these in. I don't know if I did in my other video or not. I've already marked a couple of holes there. And, well, let me show you kind of how this works. Like a lot of stuff on this bus when I've been working on it, I found out some things by accident. Or not by accident, but just things just worked out. So one of the things is, if you'll notice, if you mount this here, the way I have it right now, the support would end up kind of shooting off to the side because, or at an angle, because the bus's roof is curved. But what I found, if I took one of these 3/8 inch spacers, put it underneath, and I just set it like that, it ended up being straight. Now there is a little bit of a gap here, but this side kind of ends up clamping it down. So it ends up being very strong, and then I end up just kind of filling it in with Dicor in there, and worked out really well. So that's how I mount those. And then as far as the screws that I use, I found I'm not attaching on the back side, but I drill the hole with a drill bit here that is kind of a little bit smaller than the inner diameter threads. Hopefully you can see that there, of this zinc coated lag bolt. And while it might not be perfect, it works pretty well. And like I said, they've been super solid thus far. And this is after, I think, what, 2 years now of being on the bus here. It's worked just fine. So I'm confident in it. I'm just gonna drill a hole through here. It's aluminum. First layer is aluminum, then the 2-inch square tubing. I just go through one layer of that, and then this goes into that. And it works pretty good. So let's go. That went, I felt like that was way too easy. Huh, did I miss it? That felt like that was only 2 layers of aluminum there. Well, being that it's just basically the second, there's another support right there. I'm just not going to worry about it, because I would rather work with, I'd rather work with these holes than there's got to be a support here. Where is it? I wonder if it's right here. I'd rather not go over a seam, so we'll just roll with it. Well, I'm definitely hitting it here, so alright, whatever. That's a hot. I like to fill each of these with a little Dicor right away in the beginning. just to promote good sealing right away. If you end up using these, something to keep in mind is these are not the same length. This is the shorter side, this is the taller side. Pretty sure? Yeah. I've been doing this, the shorter side and the taller side goes up and supports everything. I'm gonna put a little more die core on there. So I'm also gonna be making a quick change here. I'm not gonna use this size bolt here. I'm gonna change out to one that's a little thicker. It's got a little more tooth to it because we're only going through aluminum here. And I just changed that one there because of the same reason. It actually came a little loose. This side here remains solid, so, and it makes sense because it was in a steel. So I'm just gonna put a little more die core in there. So let's do that. And that's basically zinc going right through aluminum, which doesn't take a whole lot. There, pretty sure I found that one. This is the only time where I do two different sizes, and as you can see, I'm using a lock washer and a normal washer just to keep everything happy. No, I might. Yeah, I gotta give this room to be able to pivot up like that because I don't want to strip that out. You know, I got my other one here. Alright, I think, I mean, look at that. I'm moving the bus. This isn't moving. If the camera's shaking, it's because I'm moving the bus. That is solid. So, and what's nice about this die core is it does pull off without too much trouble. So, I learned this recently, how to hook these up. These nuts, whatever, they have little teeth that bite into it, and they pretty much keep things pretty stable. So put that right in there, and that kind of stays where you want it. And I'm using the bottom mounting hole. I need to move that down a little bit more. There we go. Put that in there. And then I can actually slide it around a little bit if I want to adjust. So if for some reason my rack needed to go up by 1/4 inch to get over my air conditioner, but I'm pretty sure I measured perfectly, I can just raise it up a little bit if I needed to. But I want it down because that's going to create more stability laterally, whatever. So there we go. It wiggles, I mean, now we got more leverage on it, but once everything is connected together, it is a lot stronger. So I'm just kind of mocking it up here. You can see I'm going to have a lot more overhang. I'm probably going to have at least one panel. Well, actually you can see where the panels were. See where that weathering mark is. So that's where one panel would be. But I'm doing that so that I can get more panels going that way. I'm using all the bus. So, but what's nice is, well actually no, I'm not going to be able to. I wish there was a better way to mount these. thought about using like these bottom mounting holes here and not drilling straight into it with this this L bracket here. And oh, talking about the L bracket, I think initially I was thinking about doing a T. I couldn't find T's, but I figured an L is pretty much just as good in this application. But yeah, I think that'll work just fine. What I do want to avoid is the panels overlapping where the supports are. So where these are, that pretty much tells me where the panels would be. So I think we're good. See, and then it still locks it because of that. This unistrut's a pretty cool system. I left the other side loose still so I can adjust it. So you're probably asking yourself, well, these are pretty wobbly, aren't they? Well, they are, but when the solar panels are across them, they'll stiffen them up pretty good. It'll provide the whatever the lateral support, and they're pretty good front and back. I'm pushing on them either way. They're not really moving, they're only moving side to side. And once they get tied into the rest of them, I don't think they're going anywhere. I'm really not worried about this. My anxiety level has gone way down. I think my only anxiety level is leaks. So I decided to put 2 on because I think I can work around it over here because that's the easiest way to secure them. Because this needs 1 on either side. Now I don't like to tighten it down too much because I don't want to crack the panel or something, but these frames are pretty strong. They are pretty much not going anywhere. Oh. So now I think you remember. Let's see what happens when I wiggle this now. Okay, well it wiggles because it's so far out over here, but like this as a whole is not really moving much, and I only have it secured once. Once I get it secured here, it'll be much better. Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good about it. All right, so next day here. Again, we got all the panels put up. It's really stable. Really happy about that. So next what I need to do is I need to wire them up, and I'm going to be wiring these up in series pairs. I have 8 panels, so that means 4 pairs, 2 charge controllers, so that means 2 pairs per charge controller. That's 80 volts each, because each of these panels is 40 volts roughly. You know, the MPPT charge controller changes that as needed, of course, but then I'm going to be using these to combine the series to parallel each series pair. So I don't know, maybe I'll put up a drawing or something that explains it a little bit better, but Anyway, I'm gonna wire these up and maybe we'll get some actual charging going today. Well, there it is. We got everything hooked up. Looking okay. Not as great as I'd like. So the sun's coming through there. This little bit here, I think I'm gonna end up trimming that off. I might even just cut through the top part of the bar and then bend it down, and then put some kind of like an air dam up there or something, just to keep the air up above the panels. Let's go inside and see what it's doing. So now of the 2600 watts, we're only getting 110 or so, but that's because we've got a lot of partial shade. Let's see. Yeah. The MPPT is really working, but we're not going to really know what it does until later. What I might do, just to stress the system a little bit, let's go ahead and turn on the hot water heater. Give the batteries a little bit of a workout. So you can see where, and that should, as the sun comes around behind the trees, that'll pick up and eventually recharge my batteries and all that. So we'll check back in later as this continues. Well, here we are later on in the afternoon, and I should have come out here sooner. I did see almost 2,000 watts coming in at one point, but now the clouds are really starting to come over. You can see here, we don't have much shadows outside, so it's pretty cloudy out right now, but that's still not bad. I mean, we've got a very cloudy sky, 800 watts coming in, and what I like is what you can see. See, they're pretty even, which means they're working about the same. So that's kind of where we ended up. So I think we're gonna end the video here. We've done quite a bit, and I'd like to get this video out. So until next time, hope to see you, and leave comments and stuff. And if you felt like it, you could subscribe. That's totally cool, or not. You don't have to. No pressure. No pressure. Bye bye.